Alright guys, welcome back to Bookverse. We are doing the review for 7 through 12 on Crisis on Infinite Earths. This is the big finale for the event. Again, this thing just revolutionized comics. It was one of the first major crossover events. And so, let's finish it off. Okay, so let's kick it off with issue 7. Wow, this one's freaking blew my mind. So I have no idea issue 7 was an extra long issue. It is about 40 pages long, so it's a huge impact to the story. So let's get right into it. So overall, the overview, there is a background villain storyline going on that's building up. It's kind of been happening throughout the issue so far. It still hasn't come into fruition, but again, they keep teasing at something coming along with the villains. And at the same time, we are finally getting the heroes stepping up and doing the attack on the Anti-Monitor. They're finally on the offensive. So they're gearing up to do their plan, ready to go attack them. It does get a little hammered in with a random Wildcat backup kind of thing. So the Wildcat got hurt. And now there's a new character who's taking up the mantle. You know, I guess they're trying to set up these legacy characters before the event is over. So there's a new Wildcat in town, and it does take a little bit away from the story, but again, it's an extra long issue, so there's still a lot more. So we finally get the backstory on the Anti-Monitor, on the Monitor, and Pariah. There's so much here. So it turns out that Krona, one of the guardians of Oa, from the Green Lantern Corps, millions and millions of years ago, tried to look at the origin of creation. And with it, he ended up splitting all the universes from one Earth to multiple Earths. So that's how we got the multiverse. When he did that, though, he also created the Anti-Monitor and the Monitor, two beings, opposite force. The Anti-Monitor was in the antimatter universe, and the Monitor was on the moon of Oa, and they were both kind of in stasis for a long time. And it wasn't until Pariah also tried to look at the creation, and he ended up waking up the Anti-Monitor. He accidentally created this whole thing where his own universe got destroyed by antimatter, and so the Anti-Monitor took that energy and woke up from stasis, and now that's how he began attacking all these multiverses. So the stakes are getting high. So, you know, now the heroes are going to the antimatter universe and attacking. And so we have this huge showdown. They get attacked at the homeworld of the Anti-Monitor. And so everyone's fighting. They make it to the Anti-Monitor. A group of them make it to the Anti-Monitor. And it ends up being basically the Anti-Monitor is just beating up Superman from Earth 1. And so Supergirl, his cousin, comes in and just like gives it all she's got, and she starts fighting him as hard as she can. And it takes a toll on both of them, and big spoiler here, but Supergirl dies. So like they kill her off. Again, like this event is killing characters left and right. You know, who's gonna be left at the end, who knows? But Supergirl dies a very heroic death on this scene. She's saving Kal-El, she is saving the universes. And the Monitor, Anti-Monitor, actually escapes, and she ends up dying though. So it's a huge impact. You know, the heroes retreat back to their home world. You know, the positive matter world, and so, but Supergirl's dead, so there's big mourning for her. So the big pros on this one again are like we get so many answers finally. You know, we waited up halfway through the event, everything was kind of still mysteries. Now we finally get these answers. Who is the Anti-Monitor? Who is Pariah? Who is the Monitor? What's it all about? So it's again really good issue, very important issue. I don't really have any cons for this one. It was really good, extra long, extra action, extra everything. So I think this was a really good issue. I would definitely give this a 5-star rating. I really enjoyed it. It was really it hyped me up for the rest of the series to see what else was going to happen. So 5 stars on this issue. So now for the art, again, I'm not going to talk about the interior art, but the cover, very spoilerish. It's Superman holding Supergirl, and he's like screaming. I was like, oh man, this is a big spoiler at the beginning of the issue, but honestly, since it's so long, I totally forgot about the cover, and it still hit me when she died. Yeah, there is a spoiler in the cover, but sometimes, it's not the destination, it's the journey to get there. So seeing how it happened, how it led up to it was really cool. So great cover for this issue. Okay, now issue 8. So issue 8 is another big issue. So the Anti-Monitor has retreated, and then we finally see a character that kind of got pushed to the side so far in this whole event, the Flash. The Flash steps up, has his superheroic moment, and again, he's killed off. Like, they're killing off some really important characters here. The Flash has been around since the Silver Age, and he went out in a very heroic fashion. He destroys a very pivotal plan to the Anti-Monitor, and so he dies a heroic death. So it's, again, just things keep building up. The story continues. It keeps getting more and more high stakes. So for the pros on this one, again, the Flash finally getting his time to shine and having the very heroic death. It was really good. Kind of like a pro and a con was that he died alone. Nobody knows where he's been. It's very saddening, but it makes for really good storytelling. I think that would be more of a pro than a con, but it does feel sad. It makes you, the reader, sad that he died this heroic death, but no one even knows yet. We did get to see him travel back in time, like earlier in issue 2 or 3, I believe. We got to see flashes of him talking to the Batman and Joker. So we finally see how that came to be. So that was really cool. As for a con, again, they had a red tornado thing that didn't really lead anywhere. He just blew up. I don't know if we'll see him one more time or not, come back to life, who knows. But as for now, the red tornado is dead, but his whole kind of story arc was, in this graphic novel, was kind of just a dud. Nothing else other than the Flash thing happens too, so even though it was really great, it felt like it was missing a little backstory with the rest of the heroes. I would definitely give this one a rating 4, but not quite a 5, but it definitely deserves a 4. And as for the art, the way that they did the Flash's disintegration was really cool. He's running, and slowly you see him just turn into nothing. So I think for the art, that was amazing. To see that, it was really cool. Alright, so now let's move over to 9. The world's kind of getting used to it. They think that the event's kind of over. And now the villains finally put their plan into action and they attack. So they try to attack the 3 extra worlds while Earth 1 and Earth 2 are filled with all the heroes. And they took over these worlds, and now we're getting a hero versus villain showdown. It does feel kind of like a filler, but it's also really cool to finally see that pay off. Another thing going on 9 is the Guardians of OR finally seem like they're coming out of their exile or whatever, and they're finally taking a step forward to try to intervene. The pros for this one is definitely seeing the clash between heroes and villains. You get this widespread, all the villains, all the heroes, and they're all fighting each other. So that's really cool. That'd be an amazing sight to see in live action. But yeah, it's really awesome. The cons for it, though, is it does just feel like a filler. It doesn't go with the rest of the Anti-Monitor event, it's just kind of thrown in there. Definitely feels like they just need to fill in more than an issue or two. It doesn't feel like it's going to make a difference with the ending of this story, but it's cool to see, though. The cover is awesome, though. You get a big splash of all the villains. It's just, they jam-packed the cover with it. Alright, for issue 10, we finally are moving back towards the main story. So the villains and the heroes fighting, it starts off the issue from what got left over in 9, but it kind of gets cut short because the Anti-Monitor is back and he is attacking again. So finally, they're setting up the last stage of the event. So, okay, let's do it one more time. Let's go attack him. Let's go fight him one more time. So the Anti-Monitor has traveled to the past, to the beginning of time, and he plans to destroy all of positive matter. So that way the only thing left is the Anti-Matter universe. So the group is splitting up. The heroes are going to the past to face the Anti-Monitor, and they're sending the villains on a mission to try to stop Krona from ever actually making the multiverse. So, they arrive. The Anti-Monitor kind of expected it. So, he drains their life force and he is ready to enact his final plan. And then the Spectre shows up, and they go hand to hand, and the Spectre is trying to stop them, and all of a sudden, just like everything comes crashing down, and we are kind of left not knowing what happens until the next issue. So the pros for this one definitely were like the going and facing off against the Anti-Monitor again. The tension is super high. You get this great speech from Uncle Sam, about doing the right thing and prevailing and all that stuff. I would say the cons for it, though, again, kind of like I felt the whole villainous thing was kind of just a filler. It just gets squashed down and ignored. And also how the heroes just got there and they did nothing. They just got their power sucked. It was kind of anticlimactic for all the all right, let's go. But overall, though, it was a good issue. I'd probably give it a 4.5 to 5. This was definitely one of the biggest issues of the series. It's kind of like the last payoff, I think. I think the other two are just going to wrap up and set up the new universe. The cover on this was amazing. So you get this huge, Anti-Monitor and Spectre just, going at it. And all the characters are around them. Okay, so issue 11 starts off with confusion. Earth 2 Superman, the original Superman, wakes up and he goes to his office, at the Daily Star, and all of a sudden it's Perry White's office and it's the Daily Planet, and he's just a lot of confusion on what's going on. We get to see other characters interact and realize either that they don't exist in this new universe created. It's a whole new Earth. It's kind of a combination of the remaining 5 Earths. You got the main stories from Earth 1, but then you got stuff from the Justice League of the Justice Society of America, who come in and have now been the generational heroes in Earth 1 instead of a whole different universe. And then they find out that there is no multiverse anymore. It's just a big void, so there's only one universe now. So that's a huge change up to the status quo. Again, that's what this whole event was, to kind of linear everything into one continuity instead of having all these drifted part continuities. But just when you think it's over, Anti-Monitor just keeps coming back. It's kind of funny in a sense now, but he comes back and he sucks the Earth into the antimatter universe, the entire Earth. So it's, we got one more showdown on the final issue that's going to be epic, I think. For the pros of this, it's just really interesting to see what changes are being made, who and what, and what's left over. The cons, though, again, you get character after character to kind of giving their spiel of oh, I don't exist, this or that, and it just feels a bit repetitive. Yeah, we get it. It's one universe. These people shouldn't exist anymore. Overall rating for this one, I would say, is a good solid 4. Again, it's kind of reintroducing the new history and everything. And, of course, the cliffhanger where they get sucked into the antimatter universe again, gearing up for that final battle is really cool. Alright, so here we are, the grand finale, issue 12 of Crisis on Infinite Earths. So this is what it's all been leading up to. So last we were seeing is that the Earth got sucked into the antimatter universe. And here they learned that the Flash died. Barry Allen has died. And it gets proven when they find Psycho Pirate with his costume. So it's really cool to see that they actually found out that he did, die, and he hadn't disappeared or something. So I think that's a good wrap up to some of the stuff they had going throughout the series. And so we have the final showdown between the Anti-Monitor and the heroes. You got all the superpowered guys, and they go after the Anti-Monitor. And we actually get a fight this time. Well, it's kind of a fight. They attack him, and he he just bounces it off like nothing. But we actually get to see them fight. The new Dr. Light comes, and she absorbs the energy that the Anti-Monitor has been using. So finally, the attacks that the heroes are doing are actually having an effect. On top of that, they are using their magicians to kind of trap all of the demons that he made. And so they finally have the upper hand. They give him a good punch. They think it's over. They think he's dead. The heroes have to travel back. And so the gate is closing. Alexander Luthor from earlier in the series, he's helped bringing him back and forth between the antimatter and the regular universes. The gate is closing, so they have to get through. But then the Anti-Monitor comes back one more time, and the OG Superman decides to stay and fight him. So Superboy Prime from the Prime universe, he's hauling the Superman from Earth 1 who got knocked out. He's taking him back to the regular universe, and Superman, the OG Superman, is fighting the Anti-Monitor. Superboy decides to just throw them across and help out the OG Superman, and so together they are fighting the Anti-Monitor, and finally they destroy him. They throw him into the sun, and we finally have the end of the Anti-Monitor. But the remaining heroes, OG Superman, Superboy Prime, and Alexander Luthor are all stuck in the antimatter universe, and the sun's about to explode because they threw the Anti-Monitor into it. And so it's a little, you're just like, oh man, like these guys are gonna die, they're gonna kill them off, it's over for them, but everything's saved. And then Alexander Luthor takes one more card trick out of his sleeve and announces that there's a kind of like a Nexus universe that he could take them into, that they will be in forever, but not dead. And so that's what they do. They go into this universe and they're saved. And so that's kind of the end of the original Superman. That's kind of his grand goodbye. So overall, I think it was really cool. It was finally we got the fight that we were waiting for. And it was really cool to give that final moment to the original Superman. So as they wrap up, we got this new Earth. We got Wally as the new Flash. And so again, after this event, they were going to kind of relaunch a bunch of the series and, catch everyone up on what and who is what now, what their lives were. So they were getting a reboot with new histories because now it's a new Earth. Definitely the pro of this one was having the original Superman, like having him, giving him big moments and everything. That was really cool. And also just seeing the new Earth and seeing how that's gonna play out now. I didn't really have any cons for this one. Again, the series finale, it did what it needed to do. It rebooted the universe. It had a good story along the way. So there's a lot of tension, there's a lot of deaths, there's a lot of surprises, and everything just accumulated to a really great story, graphic novel. So definitely a rating of 5 for this one. I think it was a good cap off. I am super happy with it. And for the art, again, the entire series had amazing art. It was very consistent. It was pretty epic. You had a ton of heroes. You had a ton of villains. Basically, almost everyone you can think of was in this event. So having just the artist that had to do all this, George Perez, must have been insane. Like, I can't imagine his hand worked after this series. But it was really great. And then the cover to this one, again, just another one that knocked it out of the park. You have the Anti-Monitor just fighting with all the heroes in this really cool big spread. So it was really awesome to see. So yeah, that was issue 12. Alright guys, well thank you to coming along in my journey of reviewing Crisis on Infinite Earths. Again, this was a huge event, so I split it up into 3 parts. The first episode you could watch, it's issue 1 and a bunch of other stuff like the DC Infinite app and other cool things to know. Episode 2 was all about issues 2 through 6, and this is the finale, 7 through 12. So I hope you like my review on it. I would love to hear your guys' opinions, see what you thought of it, if you've read it, if you haven't read it, do you plan to read it? So I had a blast reading it. I had a great time. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Keep coming back for more videos. I got a ton of graphic novels to keep going over. So I'll see you guys next time.